Okay, let's get started. Here's the DIY supplies you'll need. So these candles I got from Dollar Tree. They just came in a pack of 6. You're also going to need a candle wick. You can buy one, or I'll show you how to get one out of the candle that we used. You're going to need something to put your candle in. You'll also need some hot glue, something to melt the wax in, preferably something you don't mind getting dirty. I also have like a double boiler back there. Then there's some essential oils to scent it, and if you want to color it, you're going to need a crown. So the first step you're going to want to do is cut your wax up. So this is really hard wax. So if you're young and don't know how to use the knife, please ask your parents to do that because we don't want you to cut yourself. But I just cut it into small pieces. The smaller your pieces, the faster it will melt. So just keep that in mind. And I'm just putting it in this measuring cup that I don't mind getting dirty and throwing away. Make sure to ask your parents about that too. And then if you want to color your candle, you're going to want to take a crown. I chose a purple one because I went with like a lavender citrus scent. So I chose purple, but you can choose like any color crown you want. You just want to take the wrapper off and again cut it in small pieces so it'll melt pretty fast. This actually colored my candle pretty well. I think I used it was like 1.5 crowns, and that colored it pretty well. So to get the wick out, this I think is the most difficult part. I broke the candle in half, being careful not to break the wick, and I just kept doing that and sliding the wax off it. I also put like a little groove there. I'm not cutting all the way through. I'm just cutting it about maybe 1/4 of the way through, and then it's easier to break. You can also just buy a candle at like a craft store, or buy a wick, and it might be easier to do that. These are actually the candles that I used for the wax, so they were at the Dollar Tree for $1, and I was able to get the wick out, so that worked out pretty well. The end part was the most difficult part. I ended up just cutting it. I didn't cut the wick, luckily. As you can see, I'm just kind of like chopping and breaking it apart. So you can do either option. I just went with this one since I was able to get the candle wick out. And like I said, I got these candles from Dollar Tree. They were just like a pillar candle. And so to put the wick inside the candle, you are going to have to put some hot glue on the wick and stick it to the bottom of your candle jar. You're going to need this to keep it in place. So I just put some hot glue on the end of the wick and then took this little fork I had and kind of pushed it down, and then once it was cool, pushed it down there, and as you can see, it worked pretty well. So I've melted my wax just in a pot of boiling water, like as you can see behind me. And so to scent it, I'm going to use some lavender, orange, and lemongrass essential oil. You can do whatever you want. You can leave it unscented. You can scent it with essential oils, or you could get like a candle scent at the store and scent it like chocolate. So to make sure the wick stays in place, you're going to want to wrap it around a straw or something to make sure it stays in place while you pour the wax in. So now I'm pouring my wax in, and then I'm going to adjust the wick of the candle to stay in the middle while I freeze it. I used about 5 of those pillar candles I showed in the beginning, and about 1.5 crowns, and as you can see, it colored it pretty well. So here I'm just adjusting the wick to lean over the candle, and this is what I did while I was waiting for my candle to freeze. To set the candle while I'm dancing around the kitchen with my dog, you can put it in the freezer. You can just leave it out to dry, or harden in the room temperature, but I put it in the freezer and that worked pretty well, so it hardened pretty fast. This is how it turned out. I'm not sure why there was a hole in it. I think there may have been an air bubble, possibly. But so that happened, but it was fine because it burned the same. Then you're going to want to trim the wick. Again, if you're young, please ask your parents to help. Just trim it to an appropriate length. And there's your candle. You can go ahead and light it like any normal candle, and it works pretty well. So that's it for the video, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.